East Boulder County, Colorado is one of the best places in the country to live. And without restaurants, small businesses, clinics, and artists, our home just wouldn't be the same. This is the first video in a series of videos spending time with owners to hear them tell their story. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe and like. The best is yet to come.
Basically, since the beginning, we always just wanted to provide something that people didn't have to go to Boulder or Denver for anymore. That they had something in their neighborhood and that was just focused more on using community-based products with stuff that's sustainably raised and just treated right. That was always kind of more our goal, and to provide that feeling of community when you're here. And really excited going into spring that it's like, okay, farms are coming back and we can start to focus more on fresh, and you know, it's not just takeout business anymore. It's like we're going back to what we were and what we have always strived to be. You know, for how crazy last year has been, it's been just kind of amazing to watch all of our staff and all of our people kind of develop and see how excited they are to see what's on the other side. You know, I wouldn't say that we're growing, we just had to adapt, go to more takeout friendly, like burgers, french fries, chicken sandwiches, to make sure that we were giving people a better financial option. And hey, I need to take this home and it needs to be good and high quality. It's mostly like, okay, this is what we need to do to survive. And we did it, and you know, the surrounding community was just amazing about it and totally supportive. And we won Partner of the Year from Sister Carmen for being the most charitable business. And like, we didn't win that, like Lafayette won that. Like, people literally buy meals for people here every day. Like, we have pay it forwards for 2 people, pay it forwards for 4 people, and like had nothing to do with us. Like, they're the ones that bought it every day. Like, we just make it. They all just made it possible for us to buy that food and make sure that, you know, those less fortunate families, especially in this scenario, like, we're also getting cool meals, and you know, we're providing them enough food, like it'll feed them for a day, you know, and kind of that's really been like such a pride point, I think, for us and as a team, that it's like, man, like, you know, Lafayette did that for us. Like, we've all, you know, those of us that did survive have all like kind of figured out like, hey, this is what we have to do to make it happen. What we did before was a higher quality, higher price point, because of the fact that it's like we're trying to give people something better, but that's really hard to do for takeout and delivery. And so we kind of just had to, you know, like I said, pivot and shift, and like, hey, let's make sure that we are giving people economical choices. We're like, all right, let's now put our like community foot forward and start to go back to what we were and rehash those like farm relationships, and who can we get this from, and what can we do that's really cool and different. I mean, I think it's mostly getting back to those core values. I feel really good about it, and I think everybody that works for us feels really good about it. You know, I think we didn't suffer like Boulder and Denver did. You know, everybody stayed so super hyper local that they were ordering from us twice a week, because they were like, no, it's just easier, it's just better. You know, like we can get something from down the street, and we're supporting a small local business that we know is locally owned. And now we've brought almost everyone back, so that's really exciting, just to like have our team back and like see those faces. You spend more time with these people at a restaurant than you do probably with the people you do at home. We really want people to feel safe when they're here and feel comfortable. We did build a patio enclosure with roll down walls. I mean, it wasn't a drastic change. It gave us another 4 tables, but it was enough to help us kind of grind it out. I would have to say pork cheek gnocchi, because that was one of those dishes that people like went crazy for. When are you gonna bring the pork cheek gnocchi back? And Doug did that, and it's just been crushing. We just released that one like last week, and it's just been awesome to see people come back and like, man, I haven't had this in 2 years, I'm coming back just for this. And we will be bringing back mac and cheese, so my wife doesn't kill me, but also for everybody else that lives here and all their kids. Somebody's like, man, my kid, they need the mac and cheese. I'm like, all right, we're finally getting back, and we have enough people, and we can execute it correctly. And that's the exciting part of like, okay, it's almost back, you know. Birdhouse has always been in that survival mode, basically. You know, since the day the doors opened, we were at 50%. We already knew all the things we had learned here and how we were gonna see, you know, QR menus, how do we drop plates. So it was, the model was already set for us. Birdhouse was one of those things that like when I purchased the property, I hadn't realized that I had just bought the biggest tree in downtown Erie. And I was 100% set on the fact that I was not going to be the person who was going to bulldoze the biggest tree in downtown Erie. We didn't have a name for the concept. I had always just had this weird concept in my head of doing tacos and ramen and these things that I think are new imagined American comfort foods, these things that we've like literally absorbed. It's like, well, that's what I need when I'm feeling sad, hungover, you know, whether it's cold and you're like, man, I want ramen, or man, I need to sit on the patio and have a margarita and like pound some tacos. Like, I think that was where that concept always kind of came from me, that they're just like these things that we've really like just absorbed in American culture. It's like, no, these are our comfort foods now. And with that space, I wanted the focus to be that giant tree. And we didn't have a name because it's tacos and ramen, so it was like, let's just call it Birdhouse. We'll put a rooftop patio on, and with that space, there's some really crazy light fixtures that are all made out of manzanita wood, and those came from my dad. My dad drove them all out from California. He's been collecting manzanita wood for like 30-40 years. I think I kind of set the mood for that space, and then past that, I really wanted it to feel like that mix of California but Mexico, and yeah, there's some Asian influences. It does what you're talking about, where it kind of makes it like this like kind of clean, sleek, but really different space that nobody else is really doing. Like, I wanted Erie to feel like they had something that was their own, and that was something I wanted to give back to that community, where they were like, nah, like this is ours. When we were building that space, we were really patio focused. Just that food leans to like being outside. So we already have a front patio, we have a rooftop patio. It's been a wild year and a half, and I just want to, you know, say thank you to everybody who's really like pushed us through and made it happen for us. So you can finally feel like you're seeing the other side, you know, where we're starting to be like, okay, like we're gonna make it, and it's gonna be good again at some point. Like, just to see that light at the end of the tunnel almost, and feel good about it.
Yeah, my name is Carrot Bistro, and I am a owner of Busaba Authentic Thai restaurant here in Louisville. I don't know if I call myself new owner, but I'm owning it for almost 2 years now. I love Thai food, that's the main reason, and I love to cook. I used to work in Thai restaurant before, and that's what I get exposed to, how the Thai food is made and prepared and everything. And while I was going CU here in Boulder, once I graduate, I worked in corporate America, travel all over the country, and back of the mind, I always have that craving, you know, to make the Thai food I tried. And Busaba actually is the place that I used to come here often, like pretty much almost every day to eat. And I was kind of dreaming of owning it, and this happened that the previous owner wanted to retire and move back to Thailand. And so I'm here now, you know. So they trained me good. They were with me for almost 7-8 months. They wanted to train me right, and I wanted to train right. They take time to kind of train everything, you know, that they build this reputation, you know, and the community for authentic Thai food. I'm happy to have it. I was, as I say, almost new, and the COVID hit right after my training. And I had to learn so many things. Every 2 weeks they come up with new procedure, new policy. So we're open dining, you know, 50% one day, next day we're pretty, like next week we're pretty much shut down, and then they allow us to open dining. We have to prepare the 6-week distance. We have to figure out delivery system for our food, and also we're not getting all the ingredients that we usually get easily in the normal situation. So we have to kind of improvise. This last Monday was when we decided to open for dining, and as you can see, we only have 5 tables opened inside, and we have a patio outside for 10 table. So a lot of change happened. We have new policy, like all the customer who wants to dine in have to sanitize their hand before sitting. We have our table put in 6 feet apart. All employees have to wear the mask. All customers have to wear the mask all the time when they're inside, and they're allowed to take the mask off only when they're eating or dining. We'll take a temperature of our employees. A lot of change, but we're happy that we survived, and most to thank to our community and our team. I think I see a light end of the tunnel. So Yeah, so the timing wise, it was interesting. I believe Colorado went to lockdown on March 16th. My son was born on the same day. So I was in the hospital with my wife, and Colorado decided to go on the lockdown. So I was like, okay. Kind of changed everything immediately because our dine-in was 80%, to go was 20%, and we have to change that like 80% to go, 20%, not even 20%, actually 100% to go. It was very slow for like March and April, but weather started kind of like warm up. We're allowed to open outdoor. That helped. I consider myself very fortunate being part of the community here in Louisville and Superior. As soon as people start feeling comfortable, they start ordering to go from us, right? So that helped a lot. So, and I thank them for their continued support. And my team, I try to keep everybody as possible. Community and the team, actually, it's because of them I'm here. So thank you. With the weather changing, actually, our food delivery partner kind of had more access to their vendors, I guess. So we're able to get the food. So we're almost back to our full menu, what we used to have it. Yeah, so we're pretty much almost getting there. We're like 90% there. As soon as we have all employees vaccinated and access to all the food ingredients, then we'll be back to the 100%. I'm very fortunate and I'm very grateful to be in Louisville and having a customer, to see that love and support, especially during the peak time when the pandemic was hard. We see lots of surge, actually people buying the gift card. That was a very good help, so that actually we had access to the cash when the time is needed most. Continue the love and support that you guys are doing, and we're very grateful for that.
That's great.
Thank you.
Hi, really nice to see you. We celebrated 6 years on December 8th of 2020. I moved into the neighborhood a year before I opened up the shop, not knowing that I would have a coffee shop on East Simpson Street. And one of the things that struck me when we moved into the neighborhood was the need for something on this end of town. East Simpson Street was where all commerce happened. I mean, this was the Charles Scholl's grocery store. And we had the post office right next door. There was the bank. And I've seen pictures of East Simpson back in the turn of the century where people were walking up and down the sidewalk. I mean, it was the main place to be. So the idea that this was the neighborhood walk really inspired me. And I was ready to jump out of what I was doing and get into something that I felt I've always wanted to live close to where I work and walk up the street. It just felt like a really great way to spend the time. And our first goal really was to create a gathering place for the locals in this area. And we achieved that pretty quickly. During this time with COVID, I mean, we're a year, just shy of a year. Here we are in March 2021. It was a very scary situation because as a business, we were not prepared to do anything online. So with the help of a couple of really amazing people, we were able to get our business online and start doing curbside, and we got creative and we had the willpower to do it. But it was a scary, scary time, and it is still scary. We don't know if it'll ever get bounced back to its fullest. However, we do know that people love and support us, and we them. Feel like this whole area, people really want to see small businesses stay in business, and people rallied. And certainly rallied for us, and it was just an amazing experience. It feels a little more normal now, but there's still a sense of sadness. I mean, I feel sad sometimes because today's a beautiful day and we have so many people sitting outside, but there are chunks of the day where people don't go out and it's a little lonely. I think the biggest shift for us was that so much of what our business offered, besides coming here, grabbing, delicious food and beverage, hanging out, having conversation, so many live events. Some were private, people would come, and we've had weddings on the patio, we've had house concerts, we've had 50th wedding anniversaries, we've done public fundraisers for all kinds of organizations. Our Thursday community hangout night is a weekly event that we did rain or shine for 5+ years in a row. So that was a bit hard to take, that all of a sudden all of that went away. I love that part. I love the people that come. It's really fun. Musicians just say, hey, it's supposed to be beautiful on Sunday. Can I just come and play on the patio? I am hopeful that we will get back, but I think what's brought us all together is that everyone is experiencing their own version of the same thing, and it brings people together. And I predict that once it's safe, there'll be a lot of hugging and dancing on the street. I think there's so many businesses and residents, and just in general, our community is ready to just laugh and be close to one another. We chose Lafayette because of how friendly people were, and we liked this sense of a smaller community and knowing your neighbor. I feel good knowing that people, they come to my business and they feel safe, and they feel like they can trust us, and they feel that they can let their guard down. I have to say, I'm so thrilled and happy and proud of the city of Lafayette, because they really came through for many, many, many small businesses in the form of emergency grants. Certainly would not be sitting where I am right now if it weren't for the city of Lafayette. So they get huge kudos, huge kudos. I'm also so grateful to my customers because they kept patronizing us, you know. We're getting it from them and they're getting it from us. And so it's definitely a two-way street. It was a no-brainer to reach out to the art community and say, please use our walls. You know, we want to represent the talent that's all around us. And being a performing artist myself, I wanted to support other performing artists. You know, COVID definitely put a dent in that, but it's going to take more than a pandemic to keep people from wanting to share and express themselves in that way. Lafayette's a beautiful place. The little things mean a lot to people, especially now. Love, belonging, friendship, family, you know, all those basic things. All those basic things.
Carrot is a new American farm-to-table bistro. We source everything as locally as possible. Our meats, our vegetables, bring in as much sustainably caught seafood, fresh, never frozen, really paying homage to, you know, food and where food comes from. Great food, great drinks, great service, great atmosphere. Everything we love about restaurants.
Yeah, you know, we're doing good. It's amazing that we're almost a year out of this, and we are grateful to be still standing.
I got a COVID beard and I got a COVID long hair on the head. It was all clean cut before COVID. But we kind of thought we had it all figured out, you know, after 5 years. And then all of a sudden COVID hit, and it was like, no, we have, okay, now figure this out. So I thought we really, as a team, as a restaurant, really rose to the challenge. But there were parts of it that were kind of fun, you know, to Iron Chef, if you will, to be able to ask our customers, what do you want? You know, because we've been doing what we wanted to do for 5 years. Now, what do you need from us? What can we do for you? The outpouring of support was at times overwhelming.
We were lucky enough to already have a foundation here in this community before COVID. So, you know, they're going to come out and support us in whatever way they can. May it be takeout or just buying a gift card. We have a lot of regulars that show up, you know, 3 or 4 times a week. Just didn't want to see us disappear either way. So we were going to open our doors any day we could. So, and we did.
You know, everybody's lives change, whether you're a farmer or not. The farmers have been hit really hard. The whole food chain's been hit really hard. Definitely strived to continue and to keep things as normal and consistent as we can. We're actually really looking forward to this year and kind of trying to push back to what we consider normal. And I hope we can also continue building on what we did last year with the family farm, because that was a lot of fun. Our staff actually got to learn a lot and have a little bit of ownership, and when they serve something, say, I grew this was from me.
We've been fortunate enough to be recognized, you know, in the 6 years we've been here, Best of the West, Best Overall Restaurant. Pretty much every year I think we've been open, we've actually won that Best Overall Restaurant. Best Chef, Kevin Kidd. Chef's been in the restaurant industry in Boulder for the last 25 years, and same with DJ. He Also got Best Bartender, Best of the West, 2 years in a row now, and 3 years in a row. So yeah, I mean, really, we're honored to be recognized in our community as, you know, a pillar of kind of what the standard is and what people want from their experience. We've just been really fortunate to be recognized for what we love to do. We got Best Brunch, Best Bloody Mary, and as soon as we can get outside again, it's a great spot to have brunch on the patio. And 1892, it was built as a butcher shop.
I believe it's the third oldest building in Erie. So it's part of the history of Erie, and it's always been a gathering place for people. So it's kind of an honor to continue that trend of bringing people together.
During Prohibition, actually, Weld County you were allowed to drink, where Boulder County you weren't. So everybody came over county line to drink. With the bar specifically, from the beginning, we really wanted to focus on the craft cocktail, Prohibition style classics. Our bar team leader is really passionate about cocktail and cocktails history, teaching everyone, you know, where this comes from and how we make this, and fresh ingredients, making our own tinctures and bitters, and end up making our own liqueurs. I actually grew up on a farm outside of Lyons, Colorado, and my parents have been farming organically there for the last 40 years. 1 acre of organic vegetables, but we've been able to plant enough vegetables and produce to supply the restaurant with certain items, supporting our community through agriculture. You know, when you think about 24 karat gold, you think about quality, you think about purity, and then the play on words with carrot, like the vegetable, kind of pays homage to bringing it back down to earth, where, you know, where the food comes from, working with our local farmers to see how, you know, we can support them. If there's something about 24 karat that you crave, that you want to come back for, that you know you're going to get every time. Yeah, you know, I mean, that burger's been on the menu since the day we opened. We have several items like that on the menu specifically that are like, we can't take off because we know there will be a riot. We're getting ready here in the next few weeks to change into our spring menu. I think this year, more than ever, we need a reason to celebrate. We're so grateful for the support we've gotten from our community over this last year, and really honestly couldn't have done it without them. Thanks for voting Kevin best chef.
Yeah, keep coming back. I'll be here every day.